Okay, hey everyone, so welcome to a top 5 video. So in this video I'm going to be just discussing the top 5 most memorable moments of my time playing MapleStory over the last 14 years. So some of the things I mentioned here will be from the channel and some won't be. So I hope you enjoy. If you want to see more of this, just let me know in the comments. Okay, so in this first one, it's probably one of my oldest memories of playing this game, but my first ever 4th job character was an Ice Lightning Mage, so an Archmage. And I was so obsessed with the ultis back before they had cooldowns put onto them, and so one of the big things that they changed, I can't remember how long ago they changed it, but with 4th job was you got given, it was kind of like 5th job where you got given a few skills but you had to go and do quests to get some of the big ones. So unlike with 5th job where you just have to craft nodes to get that, with 4th job you had to go out and actually complete quest lines. So one of the ones I remember doing, and it almost had me in tears, was trying to complete the Blizzard one. I just hit level 120, because that's what it was back when 4th job first got released. I'd spent all this time grinding up to 120. I was so obsessed with it, and I started the Blizzard quest, and the map didn't quite look like this, because again, they've changed it over time, because we're talking probably, it was probably 2009, I'd say, that I did this. But yeah, it was something where it was, the drop rate on the skill book I think you required for the quest was from Lycanthropes, and the drop rate was horrible. There was no spawn increase, the maps had very few of them, and I think I spent probably an hour or two trying to get this thing to drop, and it was just the thing I just really didn't need to do. I really probably should have just left it until another day. But I just hit 4th job and I really wanted to have it, and I think there was a GM event going on at the same time where they were summoning a whole bunch of mobs and stuff in Ludi, and I really wanted to get there and do that, and I think I managed to complete it, and then I jumped over there and did that, but I think I ended up having to buy a 2x drop card. So it's very memorable to me because it was the first character I got to 4th job, and I'm still quite fond of Ice Lightning Mages. It's something that in the back of my mind I would like to go back and properly play one, in terms of having it as a farming character and a grinding character. I'm not 100% sure on it just yet. I might have a play around on it. I'll see how I go with the Corsair and some other pirates, but it might be something that I look at doing a little bit later on. But yeah, that's number 5. Number 4 would have to be my Let's Play Jet series. So with these videos, this is probably the first time I would say I got noticed on YouTube for playing MapleStory. It was a playthrough that I did when Jet first got released back in 2012, and it was the first time where I was averaging between 1,000 to 3,000 views per video. I think it was largely due to Jet being an exclusive content class at the time, as well as me spending money on NX to cube things, because that's back when cubing was first really coming into its own thing, and I had a lot of disposable income to spend. Jet is one of the characters that I would like to go and play if I do have time. It doesn't look like this anymore, sadly. They have changed the class quite a little bit, but I would like to go and see how it differs to Corsair nowadays, because I am quite enjoying playing Corsair. I'm doing dailies on it and things like that. I haven't really started training it, but it's something I'd like to look at, and I'd like to look at getting this character, because I still have it under its same name and everything, up to level 250 at least, and doing some content on it. So yeah, I feel quite fondly about it. It was nice just having something where people were really interested in seeing what you were doing each time and seeing what the class could do, because as you can see from the damage here, it's not like I was doing outrageous amounts of damage. My gear wasn't particularly good. I've actually still got that raccoon mask. I think I'm wearing it on the Corsair at the moment, so that shows how old that equip is. I think I've actually got high fat tagged on it. So yeah, it was a nice time to play the class, and it was one of the times where I was sitting down and I think I was doing a video either every day or every 2 or 3 days. So it was something where people could keep checking back into. And yeah, it was really, I think this is the time before Twitch was a thing, so no one was really streaming Maple content, and this is the way that people followed the things that you were doing. So it was nice to put it up and nice to get the feedback from people on how much they enjoyed it. So I'll put a link up for each video or series that I refer to in this top 5. I'll link it so people can have a look at it if they're interested. I do sound quite monotone, so I'll warn you now. I think I tended to do a lot of recording after I'd finished doing a day of hard labour, because I used to wash cars before I got into the proper sort of job that I do or did in the car industry at that time. So I was quite exhausted each day. But yeah, I loved getting home and putting a video out and then checking it through the next day in terms of the views and the comments that it was getting, because I really appreciated the feedback. On to the next one. Number 3 is a very special one to me as well. It's my first level 200, and I really did work hard for this one. Like, I did work hard for my other ones as well, but this one was particularly awful because my gear was really bad. I did this character, I think I was in my final year of school, and I was I got it to 200 after my graduation, but I'd spent a lot of time playing it leading up to and after finishing high school, so I didn't really have the money to spend on anything really, so I didn't have great gear. Cubes weren't really a thing at that point, or they might have just been starting out with the Super Miracle Cubes and all of that. So this character did take a while. It was training at LHC. I think I did a little bit of leeching at LHC. And you can see from some of the quotes that I'm putting in there, just people just didn't really think I could commit to one class to get it to level 200, because it was a little bit of a journey back then. Obviously, it wasn't as hard as it used to be when the first level 200s were achieved, but it certainly was something that I was proud of achieving. I didn't stick around too long on the class because I jumped straight over to playing a Corsair, because I think I was chopping and changing between a lot of classes before I got my first 200, and then I really went on a roll of doing a whole bunch of them, which came quite in handy with Legion later on. So this one's very special to me. I go back and watch this video from time to time. I've fixed the aspect ratio in this one here, so the black bars aren't massive on the side of it. If you go back to the original video, it's not well edited, but this is back in my very early days. I'm not playing the audio here. I did get a few questions about the audio, but it's a combination of music from Metal Gear Solid 1, I believe, and then I can't remember for the life of me the band or the artist that was playing at the time. I can think of the music in my head at the moment, but I can't put a name to it. And so it was I did try a number of. I always tried to make my 200s different and special, and I made level 200 videos for other people in my guild at the time, that was fun to do as well. So number 3 is the first level 200 I ever achieved. Now, some people might be surprised by this, but number 2 and number 1 are swapped around. So number 2 in this case is me achieving level 275. So this one was the most recent on this list. It happened 2 or 3 weeks ago now, I think, of doing this video. It was on the 21st or 22nd of August. So it is something that I will remember in terms of the time spent doing it, especially right now because it was so recent. But the way that I think I enjoyed how much I was able to stick to a routine in terms of just being committed to putting in a certain amount of hours each day, not letting just things happening around me just really affect me. I would just sit down and do what I needed to do and then move on to the next one. In terms of just day after day, just doing it, working on other things if they popped up, taking a break if I felt like I needed it, that sort of thing. Level 275 will always be a special memory to me, but the number 1 is... I'll go into why number 1's a bit more important to me once we get to it. And for this part, just before number 1, I wanted to have a special mention, just for one moment in particular, and I continually miss the time anniversary that I applied, but just I wanted to make note of the time that I joined the guild that I've been part of for the last 10 years. If you'd told me 10 years ago that putting in the application that you can see on the screen right now, that I'd be part of a group for 10 years where we didn't just play Maple, but we played a number of different games from Gran Turismo to Grand Theft Auto Online, it would really surprise me. Being part of Forsaken, it's been good. There have been times where, life gets in the way and you go off and do what you do, which I did, I think in 2015-16, and I was back in 2017. But yeah, like I took a break off YouTube and Maple and all of that. I played in Reboot for a little bit, but yeah, it was nice to be able to come back and just slot straight back into like I'd never been gone. So yeah, I wanted to put this app up because the backstory is you used to have to fill out an application to join Forsaken. Not anymore. I just had to go dig through the website to get it. I wouldn't recommend anyone going to that website. I might need to go onto our YouTube channel and remove that link as well. For the amount of requests it was sending me to download stuff onto my computer that my antivirus stuff was thankfully deleting. While I went in to get this app, I will not be going back to the website unless I really, really need to. But yeah, so this is the sort of thing you had to fill out just to sort of introduce yourself to the people who are already in the guild, and then you'd have to go and talk to people and see how you got along, and then so I think it was May 2010, so it was long time, but yeah, met a lot of good people. It's very different from what it was 10 years ago, but we're still having a lot of fun. So now on to number 1. So 250. The reason why this one means more to me than level 275 does is because it was the first time that I was really chasing for something that a lot of people hadn't done before. I think I was the 33rd person in GMS to get 250, and while I know, it's not that big of a thing once, the top 5 are really out of the way, but I did get high up in the server, and that's something that I never would have thought that I could have done. There is a big difference between Maple nowadays and Maple 5 years ago. Maple is a lot more popular nowadays than it was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, it was going through a contentless period where there was nothing new coming out. The damage cap was set, as you can see there with me hitting cap on Von Leon. And being able to get 33rd in that compared to, I think it was like 200 and something this time around when I hit 275. So 275 is still important to me. 250 is different, largely because there was a lot of things involved in it, but it was something where I really set my mind to it. I wanted to achieve something, and I do look back on it and wish I could have done it back in the 200 days as well, because I would have loved to have experienced all 3 in terms of going for the cap 3 different ways. It was certainly the most frustrating out of the 2 runs that I've done. 275 was a lot easier with the setup, so I had HS and Frenzy Totem, whereas I had to rely on multiple different characters when I did the run to 250. But yeah, so both of them are pretty important to me. That's number 1, and 275 really feels to me like a lot of post-game content, especially with Arcane River and all of that. Arcane River was something I experienced at 250 after it was done, obviously, and then when the cap got raised, it really felt different to me. So it really felt like it was something where, like, if I can use an analogy, like beating the Pokemon League and then having all this extra stuff to do afterwards. Like, it was a big bunch of extra stuff, I certainly give it that. But it felt different that way because 250 was something that was already done. But yeah, so thank you for watching this video, guys. If it was something that entertained you, please let me know. I'd love to, make this a sort of thing that I start doing where I talk about my own experiences with maps, mobs, bosses, might be other games as well. I'm looking at doing a few different things. But yeah, so feel free to leave some feedback on what you liked and didn't like, and any requests on what sort of thing you'd like to see going forward. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys up with a Corsair video midweek. See you soon.